What's good? What's good? What's good, baby? It's your boy Trex, the sports junkie. And wow, what a weekend. What a weekend we had just this weekend. Um, but welcome to the MBS Uncensored on MBS show, kind of half and half. But we're gonna recap this weekend. Of course, I got my brothers with me. Let's start off with the guy, his team. Got a dub early on in the week. He's excited. Oh, Gil, what up, man?
How about them Cowboys?
Oh, here we go. Here we
Woo!
go. Here we go.
We are back on, and my fantasy football team won again. I I beat down Hub City Records, known as Duke. He
What
didn't do
up,
so
dude?
well. He didn't do so well in his NFL picks with a 2-5 record. One of the worst picks this week out of all of us. But let's go.
Gil sent me something talking about X's heated X. West tied the game. He thought I was gonna lose, but we tied, baby. We
Yeah, you were
tied.
you were nervous though.
It's all good. And then, of course, the guy that's going to come on here and brag about how he picked Alabama to beat Georgia. First, we'll talk about it. What up, Mr. Box Office?
Well, that's exactly why they call me Mr. Box Office. I don't know what y'all were thinking picking
I don't know
Georgia.
what.
That was the easiest pick of the year. So I
What?
had to come here and I had to follow it up.
This dude, hey, before we start, this dude is insane. Alabama lose his Georgia lose the nail biter. This dude's talking about Georgia's some trash. What?
Mm.
Man, let make it make sense. But we gonna talk about it.
So
Let's go, Keo. Let's go.
so for the record, this is not the MBS show. So this is a new installment we're doing. It's called the MBS recap. That's what it's called. So every Mondays, um, me and X, Yvonne, every single week, every Mondays, right after Monday Night Football's over, we're gonna actually recap what happened in this past weekend in college football and in the NFL, and it actually takes less time away from the MBS show because right now the MBS show that we do every single week is close to 3 hours. So it kind of helps both shows out, and you get the recaps out early then instead of waiting on Wednesdays or Thursdays. But you get more sports content from us, so it's actually two sports shows that we're doing every single week. So
Right, right.
but with that being said, this is just nothing but recaps on the show. So and then on the MBS show, we'll normally give our picks, and we'll still have hot topics going on the MBS show on Wednesdays. So with that being said, man, we're gonna talk about what happened in earlier tonight's game, man. Detroit versus Seattle, man. Well, what's your guys' thought? Detroit wins it, in a really good game. Jared Goff has a perfect game. What's your thoughts on this game, man?
You want me to go first, Box Officer? You got it.
I'll go first.
All right.
But honestly, I had the Lions win this game. We all did. I think in terms of the winner, no one is surprised here. We all think Detroit is a legit contender. Seattle's a pretender in most people's eyes. And I think that showed tonight. Shout out to Jared Goff, man. 18 for 18, two touchdowns, almost 300 yards, and he had a receiving touchdown off a trick
Yep.
play as well. He basically had the perfect game for a quarterback. That offense, I think the Detroit Lions offense tonight was the first time this year that we can look at that offense and say, okay, that's what we've been expecting all year.
Right.
Um, they played great. They're 3-1 now. Only one loss to Tampa, and Tampa looks good as well. But everybody had a good game. Jameer Gibbs, two touchdowns. David Montgomery was a monster. He had a touchdown tonight. Jameson Williams, long touchdown. Laporta woke up a little bit. Ramon Ross St. Brown caught a touchdown. Like I said, the offense looked great. Seattle's defense didn't look so hot though. They could not come up with third down stops at all. Every time Detroit was moving the ball, it just looked too easy. Um, and then, but I will give Seattle credit though; they kept fighting back, and their offense is actually very solid. With Kenneth Walker, their offense can do some things. They've got some players on offense there. I think Seattle going forward needs to think about a quarterback change. Not that Geno's terrible, because Geno's improved over his career. I just think they've hit their ceiling with Geno, and I
Right.
think they might want to go a younger route. Maybe if you draft a Quinn Ewers, a Jalen Milrow, or somebody like that, and you make them learn for Geno for a year or two, that could be a good thing for Seattle because they've got the targets, man. They've got Metcalf, they got Lockett, they got Jackson Smith in the jig butt. Like I said, Kenneth Walker in the backfield. Um, but all in all, I think this game went exactly how we expected, with Detroit coming out on top and Seattle fighting the whole game. And Detroit's just a little better.
Right, right. I see it the same way. This is what I've been expecting from Detroit. A lot of us had Detroit getting to the Super Bowl. This is what we expected from Detroit. And I'll go out and say it, at the end of the day, right now, if I had to nominate somebody, I know that's something that Keo didn't bring up. If we had to nominate a player, we're gonna start nominating players on this show, and we're gonna vote on who is the MBS Player of the Week. I would nominate Jared Goff. The way he played tonight, dude, that was insane. Because Geno Smith did not play bad at all. Jared Goff needed all of that to get this dub. So I just think that when I look at this team, if they can continue to play like this, they're gonna have to play like this. Let's put it out there. I know we're gonna talk about the Vikings. We're gonna talk about the Packers. Those two teams look like juggernauts in that NFC. If they're gonna want to make the run that we think that they're capable of going and making, they're gonna have to play like they did tonight because the NFC stacked, like Yvonne said. They already lost to the Bucks, so the Bucks are stacked. They came off an impressive win this past week, even though the Eagles were banged up. But overall, this game, I think it went pretty much how we all saw it. We all picked the Lions to win this game, so no real surprise in this one. But the surprise was Jared Goff was perfect in this game. I was
Yeah.
not a Jared Goff guy coming out of college, neither. I'll be honest with y'all on this show. I didn't see this.
Well, I'll follow that up before Keel goes. I wasn't either. I thought Jared Goff was a scrub coming in, and unless you have the perfect offense around them, I don't think you can win a Super Bowl with them. And they've built a great
Right.
offense around them. But all in all, he's definitely not a bust. He might not be worth number one overall pick, but um, you
Good
know,
career.
and
Good career.
right, but a good career, right? Already been to a Super Bowl and has put up a lot of good seasons.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
man. I think I could say this. I'm wasn't a huge fan of Detroit going into the season, but I could say that they're one of the most exciting and entertaining teams to watch. Like that two-headed monster with Montgomery and Gibbs, that's gonna be hard to beat. And then on top of that, you got the weapons surrounding you with Laporta, Jamison Williams. You got Patrick Mate making some plays also. Um, Jared Goff went perfect, man, close to 300 yards, 2 touchdowns. He went 18 for 18. The running game was very effective today, like always with Gibbs and David Montgomery. I would be worried about that defense though, because they gave up close to 400 yards passing in this game. They gave us some big plays. Um, I don't think Geno Smith is going anywhere. Because Geno Smith, he was making some plays that I didn't expect him to make with the plays broken up, scrambling out the pocket. I'm like, damn, how he do this? Um, so I would be, but I would be worried about Detroit's defense though, because they tend to give up a lot of points where teams have to play catch up and they're forced to pass the ball. Geno Smith, you normally don't see him. He attempted to throw the ball 56 times, completed 35 of his passes, had 395. He had a good game. DK Metcalf had a good game, but it's just that they could not stop the Detroit Lions, man. The Lions were making big plays after big plays, and it was just an easy game for them. So yeah, definitely the Lions. You know that they continue to go on the roll, and they proved that they're one of the best teams in the NFC. I'm pretty sure you guys don't have much to say about the earlier game between the Titans and the Dolphins. I'll make it quick though. It was the least interested game I was in out of the games. I would have watched something else. If the WNBA playoffs was on, I would have watched that. If I mean, I
Yeah, talk
rather
that WNBA.
I rather watch the MLB. I'd rather watch Monday Night Raw right now. If it wasn't for that game, it was just a boring game. Even though the Titans won, um, I did not pick the Titans. I picked the Dolphins, and the Dolphins just they look like a bad team, man. They look like a bad team. Skylar Thompson, that was not the answer. Huntley was not the answer. I know you had them at your sleeper of the week, X. Obviously, that didn't work out for you. Um, but but I don't know what this team could possibly do, man. I know that they're expecting Tua for week 8. I don't think they should rush anything. And this team looks really bad. Like they looked out of sync in this game at all. It looks really bad for this team.
Well, I just said this about that game. I know y'all might think I'm wilding, but I think the Titans should go to Mason Rudolph. Will Levis, man, I don't know what's up with dude. I'm not saying he was, the worst guy in the world because they obviously won it. I know Mason Rudolph came in, but I don't know. Mason Rudolph made it to the playoffs last year with the Steelers, so I just feel like Will Levis makes too many mistakes for me. It's kind of like almost like the Panthers situation. I just think today Mason Rudolph gives them a better chance to win than Will Levis.
Okay. Honestly, this game went exactly how I thought it would. Low scoring, ugly game. But with the Titans winning, because at least with the Titans being 0-3 up until tonight, their defense actually has played well in a lot of points this year. It's just Levis has stunk it up. Meanwhile, with the Dolphins, I knew that they don't have Tua. Huntley doesn't know the offense yet. It's going to be bad. So that's why I picked Tennessee, and that's exactly how it ended up. I read that the Dolphins have not had a lead in 267 days. So they haven't led all this year. They have not led once. And that's terrible until they've won, obviously, in
Yeah,
the
I
end.
was say they won a game, so they had to be leading in the A game.
When they won it in the end, but otherwise they never led throughout another game. Um, they look terrible without Tua. I think Mike McDaniel's offense is good. It just suits certain guys, and it suits a Tua rhythm guy. And the Dolphins are going to be. Tua's going to come back. They're saying week 8, week 9. So they're going to end up winning 4 or 5 games just because he's going to come back. But this season's a wrap for them. Will Levis, I think, will still be the starter after their bye week. But we'll see because he doesn't look good. So eventually he'll be replaced. But not much else to say. This game was as crappy as we thought it would be.
Yeah.
I want to add something to this. And, I know I told Q I wanted to touch on a topic, but we'll do it on the MBS show. But I'm going to say it now on this show. I really believe the best trade that could be made in the NFL right now, today, because you have Tyreek Hill and you have a chance to try to do something. I know it's probably unlikely, but I think Matthew Stafford to the Dolphins would be ridiculous. I think if the Stafford and the Rams, they're pretty much done right now. They have too many injuries. And I think that Sean McVay and company should sit there and say to themselves, let's give Stafford a chance to go win a ring. We could start over. Stafford's not young. Cup is banged up. Puka Nakua is banged up. Find out what you got from other guys. I think if they could trade, if the Dolphins would trade for Stafford, they instantly become. I think they would be better with Stafford than they are with Tua. So I would do that. I would do that trade.
I mean, I think that the Rams and the Dolphins are in the same situation right now, so that I don't think that trade would be done just because they're in the same situation.
Well,
All
the
right.
difference is the Dolphins have their weapons are available to them right now, ready to go.
Yeah.
All right, man. You could talk about that on the MBS show on Wednesday. As well. But with that being said, man, we're gonna move on over to our winners and losers this week in the NFL, man. How you guys got it?
Okay.
Want me to go? Oh, you got it. Okay.
I'll go. By the way, Keel, is the show Tuesday or Wednesday? When are we doing
Wednesday. This Wednesday.
this Wednesday? Okay. All right. So, um, in terms of my winners and losers, well, one of my losers is the New York Football Giants. I mean, come on. I know that the New York Jets lost as well, but I'm not worried about the Jets. I'm worried about the Giants. Look, they are done. Their team stinks. Malik Neighbors just got a concussion. That tells you he's out next week. He's their only bright spot. How long until we see Drew Lock? Drew Lock is eventually
Mhm.
going to replace Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is done being a New York Giant after this year. It's clear as day. Most of the contract they gave him is the first 2 years of the contract, and this is the second year of the contract. The Giants are terrible. They're going to have a top 5 pick, and they're going to be drafting a quarterback. Rumors are they wanted Jaden Daniels, but Washington wasn't willing to trade out. And obviously, Washington wouldn't trade with New York anyways because they're in the same division. So to me, um, the Giants, man, are a loser because we knew they were bad, but it keeps getting worse and worse. They haven't beaten Dak Prescott since like 2016. I mean, 2016 is 2024. That's insane to me. Um, so yeah, the Giants are a loser to me because they're gonna have a top 5 pick at the end of the year, which will end up a good thing. But right now, this season is a wash for them. My winner is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A huge win. It was never even close. And then look at the wins that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have had. They beat Washington, who actually looks solid. They beat Philly, who's a playoff team, and they also beat the Detroit Lions. They had a stinker against the Denver Broncos, but every team has a stinker. They've beaten some very impressive teams. The Bucks are legit. Baker's playing out of his mind. Mike Evans is always Mike Evans. And this week they get the Falcons. And the winner of that game will be first place in the NFC South. So to me, the winner is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because they've got some impressive wins early on this season.
Okay, okay. Well, my loser, you brought him up, is the Jets. I don't know what that was. 9 points. Now I get it. The Broncos do have a good defense. The weather was crappy out there. I'm not talking about all that. My issue is you were up pretty much the entire game, 6-0. Bo Nix, I think at halftime, had negative passing yards. That's insane. You can't lose that game. You let Bo Nix and the Broncos have pretty much one really good drive where they threw a touchdown. And outside of that, that's all they did for the entire game. And you lose that game. Um, I just think that the Jets, you can't afford to lose that game at home. At home. The AFC, we got the Bills, the Chiefs, the Ravens, the Texans. Those we kind of know what's going to happen. Then you got the teams like the Steelers. I know they lost this week, but you can't sleep on them. I know Mr. Box Office and a couple other people think that the Colts have a chance. They beat the Steelers this past week. So you got teams that's coming. The Bengals finally got off to their winning streak. Maybe they can get a couple of wins stacked up. So I just think that you can't drop games like this. I'm worried about the Jets. Brees Hall was nowhere to be found. Me and Yvonne, we spoke about Brees Hall being one of the top 2 picks in fantasy, and I don't know what that was. Garrett Wilson hasn't looked like Garrett Wilson. Mike Williams was a bright spot. I will say that. Mike Williams was, but they're going to have to do more. I was not impressed with the Jets. You can't lose that game. So they're my biggest loser. My biggest winner, though, I'm going to go with the Baltimore Ravens. I did not pick them to win that game. And because I looked at what they did this season, you lose to the Chiefs. I know the Chiefs are probably on everybody's power ranking the number 1 team. but then you double back and lost to the Raiders. You lost to the Raiders. And I'm sorry, I'm just not believing in the Raiders. I know they beat the Browns this week, but I'm not buying them. You beat Dallas. And now I'm thinking to myself, the Bills are hot. They've been balling. Everybody got them in the power rankings. Now you give Keo an opportunity to just trash Josh Allen. And I don't like it. And so the Ravens are my winners because what I saw this yesterday evening or last night, that's the team I thought they could be if they click on all cylinders. And even with all that, I thought Lamar Jackson, I know y'all gonna be like, oh, he always does that, X. He had some people wide open where he missed some throws. Zay Flowers had a touchdown. If he throws it to Zay Flowers to the Aguilar underneath. But this team is scary if Derrick Henry runs the ball the way he did. So I'm gonna say that's my biggest winner because now they look very impressive, beating the undefeated Buffalo Bills.
You damn right. Who you know who my biggest loser is? That's freaking Buffalo Bills. Are you kidding me, man? You lose 35-10. I did have the Bills at number 2 though. What they did was impressive. Josh Allen was climbing the ladder as an MVP candidate, and he was playing lights out. I felt like this was a game where he could show people, improve people. Like, yo, I'm that guy. I'm the reason. I'm him. Make sure you dress him by his pronouns, by the way. But but 35-10. I look at the Bills. The past couple games they had, they played against Miami, they played against Arizona, and obviously against Jacksonville. And this was a team where I feel like, hey, you could make a statement with this win, and they did not make a statement. Baltimore was the one that made the statement 35-10, and Josh Allen, he really struggled in this game. He did make this one play out of the pocket where he was scrambling, and I don't know how he made that pass to Shakir. That was a good play though, but it kind of brought the Buffalo Bills back down to reality. I think they are still a top 5 team though, but as far as like the cream of the crop, I think Baltimore kind of showed them that they are a better team. And what Baltimore is doing with that running game with Henry and Lamar Jackson right now, that's really dangerous, and it's going to be tough to beat this team though. So I did pick the Ravens to win this game. I didn't think the game was going to turn out like this, but 35-10, that's ugly, man. So I got the Bills as my losers, and my winners, I got the Kansas City Chiefs because 17-10. I got to give the Chargers credit. They played tough. They played really tough. It was a game all in the trenches, man. Rasheed Rice gets knocked out, and I was like, the Chargers might win this game. But guess what they did? They went straight to Travis Kelsey. It looked like Travis Kelsey was alive, and he was actually relevant for the first time this season. And Mahomes, it looked like Mahomes. It was that Mahomes and Kelsey magic once again. Um, Kareem Hunt got a lot of carries in this game also, and they found a way to win with their best offensive weapon not out. So look, you got no Pacheco, you got no Rasheed Rice now, and then you're finding a ways to win. They're not. It's not nice, but the Chiefs are the champions for the reason, and they always find a way to win. So I got them as my winners. All right. With that being said, man, so every single week we go on here and we give our players of the week, our NFL players of the week, and we everybody votes on it. So what we're gonna do every single week on here, all of us each, me, X, and Yvonne, we're gonna nominate a player each, and we're gonna have every single MBS member vote on it and who should be the player of the week. So with that being said, everybody gets one nomination, and once we get the 3 nominations, we're gonna put it up for a voting for everybody, and we're gonna see who they have as the MBS player of the week, which will be announced the end of tomorrow. So with that being said, man, Yvonne, give us the first nomination, man, for the NFL Player of the Week for Week 4.
Easy. Derrick Henry. Over 200 yards rushing and receiving, 199 running, a couple touchdowns. Completely the reason they won that game from the start with that long run, longest run in Ravens history. I think it's a no brainer. Derrick Henry, and that is the Ravens running performance we envisioned for them going into this year finally came out. Um, I said last week on the show, I got the Ravens because I think that these two teams are on the same level, and the Ravens were just more desperate for a win right now, and they got it. Derrick Henry was huge. He's my player of the week.
Okay. I'm not mad at that. I have some few names written down. He was definitely on there. But I said it, Jared Goff, man. 3 touchdowns. Perfect. Never missed a throw tonight. Against the undefeated team. I mean, there's nothing else to say about Jared Goff. He like we said, he threw 2 touchdowns, caught another one, scored over 40 points. I'm going Jared Goff. But I have no issue with Derrick Henry being the player of the week either.
All right, man. This was a tough one, but I'm going with Baker Mayfield as my nomination. He throws for 230 for 47, 2 touchdowns, man. I just did not expect the Tampa Bay to dominate this game like this. A lot of people said that okay, you don't have the receivers what you expect, but a lot, I'm gonna say not all of us, but some of us did pick Philadelphia to win this game, and Baker Mayfield, he was firing off on that defense, man, and I gotta go Baker Mayfield as my nomination for the Player of the Week. Um, any notable mentions?
Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels went crazy again, bro. I don't know, bro, what's going on in Washington, bro. They look scary to me. Like, for real. I'm not just hyping him up because he went to LSU. Because I tell you, I thought Teddy Bridgewater. I'm not going to act like him, sit up here and pump my chest and say, oh, yeah, big LSU right now. I didn't see this. To me, they look like the hottest team in football right now. They just look scary.
Okay, all right. Well, with that being said, man, those are our nominations for the Players of the Week. We got Jared Goff, Derrick Henry, and Baker Mayfield, and we'll find out tomorrow who gets voted for the MBS Player of the Week. With that being said, man, we're gonna go to our last topic in the NFL, and that is the MBS Power Rankings, man. After 4 weeks of football, how you guys have it?
Ooh. You want me to go first?
You can go ahead.
All right. Coming in number 5. Listen, it's not about what I think in a sense, it's about what I'm seeing. Number 5, I got the Washington Commanders. Dog, I can't believe I'm saying that. Because, like I just said, I didn't see that going into the season. But if you're asking me who looks scary right now, this team to me looks dangerous. It feels like they're figuring themselves out, whether it's Brian Robinson running the football, whether it's Scary Terry catching the ball, Jaden Daniels running the football. I'm here to tell y'all, man, I know we had the question if they can get the winners division. If the Eagles don't get healthy soon, shoot, it might be over before it even really gets started. But I got Washington coming in at number 5. Honorable mention go to Houston. I just think Houston just beat a bad Jacksonville team. I know I was out on Jacksonville, but that was trash to me. Number 4, I got the Detroit Lions. We saw them tonight. That's what I think of them. I think Detroit is here to stay, and they're gonna climb up these rankings real fast. Number 3, I got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, like Yvonne said, very impressive wins throughout the season. I'm gonna put them at number 3 because I just feel like at the end of the day, I'm going off of this week played a big part in my Power 5 rankings. So that's why I got them at number 3. At number 2, y'all know how I feel about the Green Bay Packers. Yes, Jordan Love was coming off the injury. He almost brought him back for the win, but it was a little too late. I got the Minnesota Vikings at number 2. Minnesota, man, defensively, offensively, They're finding ways to win in different ways. They've beaten the Niners. They've beaten the Packers. I know I'm leaving a good team off they beat. I can't think right now off the top of my head. But the Vikings are legit to me. And man, I have a question for you on the NBA show, but we'll wait until the NBA show. And number one, I got the Kansas City Chiefs. That's rounds out my top five.
All right,
Okay.
go ahead, Yvonne.
All right, number 5, I got the Buffalo Bills. One loss, nothing to worry about. They've looked great. I had them losing to the Baltimore Ravens, so I'm not shocked. But the way they spread the ball around with Josh Allen, who's had a really good start to the season so far, I think they've been a top 5 team in the league. Number 4, the Detroit Lions. We saw them tonight. Like X said, finally a performance out of them where we can say, okay, that's what we've been expecting this whole time. They're going to be nasty, and they're going to be around till the end. They're going to be at least in the NFC title game. I truly believe that. Number 3, I've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Like I said, they've got impressive wins. They beat Washington, Philly, Detroit last week. They've got some impressive wins, man. And how can you not be impressed by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right now? Number 2, the Minnesota Vikings. If you would have told me that the Vikings were going to start 4-0, I'd say you're on drugs and need to be drug tested. I mean, I cannot believe what I'm seeing with the Minnesota Vikings. I really can't. They've beaten some good teams. The Niners, they were destroying Green Bay yesterday with Jordan Love. And they destroyed Houston. I mean, I just did not see any of this coming.
That's what it was.
Sam Darnold finally looks like the Sam Darnold someone expected coming out of the draft. People don't realize he's the same age as Joe Burrow. He's younger than Lamar Jackson. So he's still very young, and maybe he's found his spot in the NFL. Maybe. I mean, I don't know if they're legit, but so far they've been legit. And number 1, the Kansas City Chiefs. Look, no matter who's getting hurt for them, they continue finding a way. Rashee Rice out for the year. Isaiah Pacheco out for like 6 to 8 weeks. They're still finding ways to win. Kelsey woke up a little bit. So as long as they're winning, they're number 1.
Okay. Number 5 for me, I'm going with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at number 5. I just felt like their win was more impressive what Washington did. I'm not quite sold on Washington yet. I did have Washington winning the Commanders. Yeah, the Commanders, man. But I do have Tampa Bay at number 5 though. A lot of people thought Tampa Bay was going to take a step back. A lot of people thought Baker was going to take a step back, and that is not the case at all, man. So I got Tampa Bay at number 5. Number 4, like I said, I'm not no hater. I got the Buffalo Bills still there. I still think they're a top 5 team in there. I think Josh Allen, he will bounce back, and I believe he will. If he's the player that we all think he is. So I got him at number 4. Number 3, I'm going with the Detroit Lions at 3. I had the Lions at number 5 last week. They moved 2 spots up for me. Good win against Seattle. I got them at 3. Number 2, the Minnesota Vikings staying strong, man. I don't know. I said some crazy stuff about the Vikings saying they're gonna be one of the worst teams in the league. What you guys said it too, though. It wasn't just me.
I said that I did.
I thought they were going to win 6 games max.
Yeah, they might even win the division. So I got them. I got them at 2, and obviously 1. It's still the Kansas City Chiefs, man, for the 4th straight week. All right, so that's our Power 5 rankings. So we're going to move on over to college football right now, and we're going to go straight to our winners and losers in college football now.
Hey, you better not, Yvonne. I'm telling you right now, don't be crazy. Don't be crazy. Don't be crazy. You want me to go first, or you got it?
I'll go first. I won't go the route that you think I'm going to go. I'm going to go with my loser, Virginia Tech. Okay. Wow. I had Virginia Tech in the playoff. They're obviously not making it. But look, they finally play well,
Yeah.
and they finally played like Virginia Tech that I actually expected the whole year, and they finally play well. They catch the game winner and they call it a touchdown on the field. The ref goes to check it and they determine incomplete. But I don't know if there was clear evidence that it was incomplete. I have to look at it again, but the point is not a good start to this year for Virginia Tech at all. For a team that had all their returning starters on offense coming back, they've been very disappointing. They've already got 3 losses. I mean, you can't lose to Vanderbilt. They lose to Rutgers. Okay, Rutgers is undefeated, but now you lose to Miami, which many expected. You're already at 3 wins for the year. They have to win out to look somewhat impressive for this year, and they still got Clemson on the schedule. So they're my loser because they finally played well. They get the touchdown to win it, and the ref calls it the opposite way. So to me, just my specific loser because I had so many expectations for them going into this year. My winner, man, I'm gonna do it. Alabama. Alabama's my winner because I think everybody thought they'd take a little bit of a step back this year with Nick Saban gone, but I want to point out Kalen DeBoer. That's my specific winner. Kalen DeBoer is now undefeated against Kirby Smart, Steve Sarkisian, and Dan Lanning. Undefeated against those 3 coaches. If we did a top 8 coaches in college football, they'd all be in there. And Kalen DeBoer's undefeated against those 3. So he's my big winner because this was the biggest primetime game of his career so far in the regular season, and he delivered. I mean, he came out 28-0 in 18 minutes, 28-0. I thought Kalen DeBoer, with all that pressure about Saban literally in the stadium watching, he delivered. And now you look at Alabama's schedule, sure they've got Tennessee in 20 days, and that's going to be tough. But they're looking at being 6-0, 7-0 here soon, and that's a great start to replacing Saban. So to me, my winner is Kalen DeBoer. My loser is Virginia Tech because of the expectations I had for them.
Okay, okay, okay. I'm not mad at you, stuff, because that's fair. What you said was fair. But the biggest loser I thought that you would mention, which I think you should have mentioned, is another team that you was high on. Ole Miss. What the hell was that? And I know me and Keo was like, bruh, Kentucky's not as bad as y'all making it
That's what
seem.
I said.
But here's the deal. It was in Miss. It was in Oxford. Like, there's no reason for you to lose that game, and you barely could score in that game. Jackson Dart looked like Tom Brady, Peyton Manning the first few weeks, lighting the scoreboard up. Lane Kiffin, people were giving him credit. We're like, oh man, Ole Miss might be that team in the SEC that could challenge the Texas and the Georgias for the SEC, the Tennessees, the Alabamas. And you lose at home to Kentucky. I don't know what that was, Ole Miss. Um, to me, they're the biggest losers because they play in the SEC. They couldn't afford that loss to me. That's gonna hurt them when it comes down because they're probably gonna lose another game. I think we all agree with that. They'll probably lose another game. They could be on the outside looking in because of this loss. You can't afford to lose. They may lose 2 more games. And if they lose 2 more, I think they're on the outside for sure looking into the playoffs. And they'll always think back, man, we had Kentucky at home and we blew it. We blew it. So to me, I always like to go with my loser. Would they have a chance to rebound from something that they had that happened to them? And this is a tough loss for Ole Miss, in my opinion. So they're my biggest loser.
the only,
My
oh,
biggest winner though, I'm gonna go with. I wrote down a bunch of teams. You know what I'm gonna go with? Colorado. Colorado. And the reason why I'm going with Colorado is because we come on this show week in and week out, and we talk crazy about Colorado. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be the first one to say it. We know that they can score, but we always say they can't stop nobody. And boy, they played okay on defense. They actually played okay on defense. I like what I saw from Colorado. Maybe they're starting to figure things out. We talk about the Big 12 and how, I had Kansas, Lord, I don't know what I was thinking. Kansas, oh my God, they can't finish the game. Oklahoma State, for all my people that picked Oklahoma State and Olive Garden, I don't know what the hell they doing. Even Utah took a loss. I could have said Utah was my biggest loser, losing to Arizona. Colorado's in the mix. And I can tell you, the people want Colorado to make the playoffs because they're more of a bigger name than all the rest of the teams that's there. It would bring more eyes to the sport. I truly believe they want Colorado to make the playoffs because it would be more excitement than a Utah. I'm not even gonna mention Kansas because Lord, Kansas. I don't know what the hell I was thinking, but I'm gonna say Colorado, man. That one loss was to Nebraska. That's not a bad loss. I'm okay. I think Colorado's my biggest winner.
Okay. My biggest loser. Um, I'm gonna go with you. It was Ole Miss. I can't really think of a bigger loser. No, no, no. I'll go a different route, man. I'm gonna go with Utah, man.
Utah, that's a tough
Yeah,
loss that they lost.
Utah. They had an impressive win against Oklahoma State, and I felt like it was theirs for the taking. But Utah, they just one of they're like Oregon, man. They'll get an impressive win and then they'll lose to a team that you don't expect them to. Now, with that being said, the Big 12 is wide open now because it's up there. It's like very close. Anybody could take it. Surprisingly, the team that's undefeated right now, the only team, is freaking BYU. No, I didn't even expect that through 5 games that BYU would be the only undefeated team left. And
And
right
they beat
now,
the brakes off of Kansas State.
yeah, and Kansas State, they look really good. I'm starting to be more sold on Kansas State the more I see Kansas State play. And Utah, they kind of dropped the ball on this one, and they opened the door for a lot of teams, especially teams like the Colorados also. So I got them as my biggest losers. But my biggest winner, man, I'm I'm gonna go with Alabama. Alabama is my biggest winner. Not only they won in one of the best games of the year or the game of the year. I don't know any game that could top that, but they just jumped Texas as the number one team in the country right now, and we'll talk about that on Wednesday. Jalen Milroe just made a case in the lead to be in the Heisman race right now, and Alabama, they are looking good. That win against Georgia is the most impressive win in the country right now, no matter what anybody says. Like it was a heavyweight fight, and it was a fight, all right. So I got Alabama as my biggest winner. All right, man. We're going to our very last topic before we wrap things up, man. Give me your top 3 Heisman guys right now from where we're at in college football.
You want me to go
Yeah,
first or you got it?
y'all go ahead.
All right. Now, let me pick up my stuff. So I'm going to go for a tie at number 3 between Travis Hunter and Ashton Genty. I have no issue if you have them at 1.
Mm.
Both of those guys have been phenomenal. You could make the case that they're the best players in the country, but they're going to come in at a tie for me at number 3. Number 2, I got Cam Ward. Cam Ward, to me, the play he made against Virginia when I thought he was going to be sacked, Virginia Tech, I should say. I thought he was going to get sacked. He still got the playoff. Cam Ward has definitely turned Miami around. It feels like single-handedly. So I'm going to go with him at number 2. And what you guys said, listen, Michael Penix was a first-round draft pick, but Jalen Milroe brings something different to Kalen DeBoer's offense. And Jalen Milroe, to me, he has the moment right now, the throw to Ryan Williams to beat Georgia when Georgia came all the way back. And Georgia's on the sidelines. They laughing. They all ready to go. They like, yeah, we turn. We back, baby. 13 seconds later, Jalen Milroe hits Ryan Williams, and Alabama takes the lead. Now, Georgia had a chance. Carson Beck, as y'all know, threw the interception to Xavier Brown. But I think Milroe's the front runner right now for the Heisman because he has the biggest moment, and you can't. Nobody has a bigger moment than what he just did versus the Georgia Bulldogs.
Okay. Good list. I'll go number 3 for me, Cam Ward. Has looked really good. Is Virginia Tech legit? Are they not? That's why it's hard to judge Cam Ward for me right now. I need to see him more in these bigger moments, but he's still top 3 for me. Number 2, Ashton Ginty. I mean, he's been ridiculous. I mean, do people realize his stats? He has 13 touchdowns rushing in 4 games, and he actually got pulled at halftime when they were destroying a small school. So he's been insane. I'm looking at his numbers. Yeah, it was against Portland State. He got only 11 carries and got pulled at halftime. Didn't even score in that game, but had over 100 yards. In the second half, he would have definitely scored. They won that game 56-14. He had almost 200 yards and 3 touchdowns against Oregon. So It's not like he's just beating up on crappy teams. He also had 4 touchdowns against Washington State, who's actually been very solid, and they beat him. So to me, he's got to be on everybody's top 3. I think he's been phenomenal. Number 1, Jalen Milroe. He's got the best one in the country. He showed up. He played really well. And you got to give him credit. He's going to have another big game against Tennessee in 20 days, so that's going to be awesome. But right now, he's got the best one in the country. He's number 1. I will say, though, don't fall asleep on Quinn Ewers just yet. I know he's missed last 2 games, but he's back. Texas on a bye week this week. His next 2 games, Oklahoma and Georgia. If he goes crazy in those 2 games, he's right back in it. So, and I think Quinn Ewers would be on many people's lists if he just stayed in there and didn't get hurt. So he's going to have his chances right here against Oklahoma and Georgia. So, but right now, I think Milroe's the leading candidate. He's got the best win in the country.
Yeah, it's the Georgia game. It's really not the Oklahoma game.
By the way, let's not overlook that 300-yard performance by Arch Manning, the real Texas quarterback.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. Quinn Ewers would have done the same thing against Mississippi State.
We still got a quarterback controversy.
No, we don't.
By the way, that video is almost at 1,000 views right now. Woo! Shout out to you guys. But all right, my number 3, I got Cam Ward at number 3, throwing over through 300 yards, 57 yards rushing. You know, he brought them back in the game. I did have Virginia Tech in that game, and that was a catch, by the way. Virginia Tech should have won that game. They got robbed. Highway robbery at its best. But Cam Ward did bring them back in the game. I got them at number 3. Yeah, I'm at number 3. Number 2, I got Travis Hunter at number 2, man. He had 89 yards, a touchdown. He picked off the player. He struck a little Heisman pose, and I think he just has what it takes. He just has that public figure. You could market him, and he just has a name. And Colorado's doing good also. So I got number 2. Number 1, man, I'm going with Jalen Milroe at number 1. Over 300 yards passing in the game. He did have an interception. He even ran over 100 yards in that game also. So I got him at number 1. And those are my 3 Heisman guys for this week in the college football.
We agreed a lot. We agreed a lot on this recap show.
Yeah, man. Though hopefully Wednesday we don't. So with that being said, man, this was just our recap, but we're gonna get on out of here, man. It's Monday night, so let's wrap things up.
Well, shout out to y'all boys, man, for coming through. I know, it's a Monday night, so y'all could have been anywhere doing anything. Maybe Yvonne drinking. Yvonne, you got to put a few down, man. But definitely a privilege, man. Honor to be with y'all boys, man. Hey, but Georgia's still the best team in the country. But I know you don't want to hear that. They are.
That's nonsense. But
No,
uh,
on a neutral field, we'll talk about
come on, man. Look, ain't nobody drinking tonight except Dolphins fans. I'd be drinking if I was a Dolphins
it.
fan tonight. I mean, come on, that's garbage. But no, shout out to you boys. Uh, good quick recap. But I'll talk to y'all Wednesday.
Yeah, man. Definitely shout out to both you guys, man. This is a dope recap show that we're gonna be doing every week. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. And the show's live, man. So it'll be available right after when the stream ends. But with that being said, man, this is the MBS recap of college football and the NFL. Until then, we'll see you guys on Wednesday on the MBS show. We out.